Hello there, my name is Lawrie Brewster. I am CEO of Hex Studios, and with me is my good friend, film journalist, and more importantly, filmmaker, Sam Ashurst.
Hello, I'm a writer, I'm a director, I'm a cinematographer, and during my time as a journalist, I interviewed the likes of Brad Pitt and George Clooney and Scarlett Johansson, but now I'm here with Lawrie Brewster.
Yay!
Yay!
But you haven't interviewed me.
Oh, well, you know, let's see.
So some film journalists' careers can never be complete.
Yes, very true.
Yes, well, anyway, that's a fabulous professional introduction. So we have our new channel, Channel Hex, which me and Sam have created to give you guys a fly-on-the-wall access to our careers as we build up an international horror film studio with our friends and partners, which includes Sarah Daly, Michael Brewster, and Thomas Staunton. In our last video, we travelled to the Glasgow Fright Fest Film Festival in Glasgow. And this time, we visited another exciting film festival, one of the new and upcoming horror film festivals in the UK, called the Starburst International Film Festival.
Yeah.
Now, some of you might be unfamiliar with Starburst, especially if you're from the United States of America. Starburst is a little like the UK equivalent of Fangoria. It is a genre-dedicated publication which is almost 40 years old. And recently they've begun a film festival in Media City in Manchester. And if that sounds like a futuristic Robocop part of town, it kind of is. So, here is a copy of Starburst magazine. Ooh, And the team behind Starburst, the journalists, are all creative people. They're wonderful people, and you'll get a chance to meet some of them in our video. We suggest that you check out the link, which should magically appear now, to subscribe to Starburst, because you will be supporting a genuinely independent genre publication, which, in terms of its film festival, as well as one of the most supportive organisations towards indie filmmakers we've seen.
Truly. Yeah, you know that hashtag support indie film? Well, Starburst live that hashtag. I've never seen a festival that is more supportive of independent filmmakers. There are a lot of first-time filmmakers there, certainly a lot more micro-budget filmmakers there than I'm used to seeing at traditional festivals. And we really need events like that to support the up-and-comers. So, yeah, it was a good time, eh?
Absolutely. Totally, I was about to say. And, of course, we also had ulterior motives to be there as well. Not just for Nando's, which is in Media City, but for the world premiere of A Little More Flesh.
Yes, indeed. And it was quite an adventure. Lots of ups, some downs, but you're about to see all of them in this extensive documentary about our experiences. And it wasn't just me who had a film there. Lawrie had the premiere of the colour version of the classic The Black Gloves, previously only seen in black and white. Here it is in colour. And our good friend Charlie STEEDS had his premiere of An English Haunting, and Charlie will pop up quite a few times in this documentary.
Absolutely. And you might be concerned to not see Thomas Staunton with us, as he was present in our last video, but he had to go to Glasgow again to see a friend of a half-cousin of a friend whose band might be playing that night. So fortunately, his priorities were well organised, but we have a substitute in the form of my cousin, Michael Brewster, who does our VFX. And you will find that his raillery is no less than Thomas's. So guys, enjoy.
It wasn't, I was not expecting it to be like chaos.
Yay! Sam having breakfast. Nom 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 nom.
Great.
And look who's here, it's Sarah Daly.
I'm covered in pastry.
You're covered in pastry. Nom, 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 nom. And Michael.
I don't eat. Oh great, that's definitely going in now. Thanks for that.
So that's the start of our journey to the Starburst International Film Festival in Manchester. Woo! These are essential supplies for the car journey. Hey Michael.
Aye.
Michael. Michael.
Yep.
Michael. Michael. Yeah. Yep. Yep. What have you got, Sam?
I've got some backup toothpaste, some chewing gum, and 2 of these.
I have lots of water for the car journey. It's going to take us 39 hours in the car to get to Manchester. So here we all are. There's me, Lawrie Brewster, CEO of Hex Studios, with my amazing business partner, Sarah Daly, who's a writer and producer. Oh my God, look at my face. It's distorting horribly.
That's just what your face looks like.
Oh, Sam, did you hear that?
I did, yeah.
Your face doesn't reflect a sense of protest at that terrible remark.
Hello, nice to see you all. We're going on a trip now.
Yes.
Well,
So there's my good colleague, Sam Ashurst, filmmaker and writer and film journalist extraordinaire, and he works with us at Hex, and he's a genius in his own special right.
Oh.
Sarah Daly is the actual brains of our company. She's a screenwriter whose work has been performed at Sundance, South by Southwest, by Hollywood stars like Anne Hathaway, Gary Oldman, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Anna Kendricks, and your music's even been performed by Sia, the girl with blonde hair and no face. And then there's what Michael does is he'll select a colour of pixel and
Change it.
after 3 months of work. Yay! Michael Brewster, VFX.
I'm looking at the red dot.
Don't look at the fucking red dot, look at the camera. Oh, look at the camera. So, which is the thing over there. Michael Brewster is our VFX ninja, but he's also an amazing cinematographer, and he's my cousin, and he also plays the evil cousin Michael in our prank videos. And together, all 4 of us are going to the Starburst International Film Festival to screen a colour version of The Black Gloves, and more excitingly, for my good dear friend Sam, the premiere of his film
A Little More Flesh.
A Little More Flesh,
Yeah.
which we are proud to be representing in the film industry and the film market, and it's an astonishing, brilliant movie. So can't wait to see it come second to The Black Gloves when it comes to the awards night for best film and best director, because naturally.
I only want one of those. Don't need both.
What if you win both? So this will be our mild-mannered rivalry, which we'll be playing up for the duration of this video until until it can be. My name is Michael Brewster, and I've been driving along to Manchester for a long, long time. Now, I ain't no ordinary man. I'm a VFX supervisor. But there's more to me than that. Hey, Sarah.
hi.
Where's the other guy? Hey. How are you guys doing in the back seat?
Doing great, making plans for the future of Hex.
Oh, and don't forget the cameras here.
Yeah, am I allowed to say?
Yeah.
We're talking about a new idea of a series of kind of exploitation movie style books under the label Hex Arcana.
Oh, geez, man, you weren't supposed to talk about that. God, I thought. Oh, yeah. Do we have any financial reports and share structures we could also give everybody?
Yeah, that's actually really interesting, Lawrie. I'm glad you asked.
Still looking at the red dot.
I'm looking at your face.
No, I mean, I'm looking at the. My face isn't the red dot. Yeah, no, but we were talking about books. horror books are awesome. One of the things I really miss, right, is when I was at high school, when I was growing up in the 1980s, or when Sam was growing up before the war, illustration was a much bigger feature of the book covers of books. Nowadays, they're so boring, you know? It's like one color with like, I don't know, a triangle, and that's it. Summer's Weave, you'll have a name like that. Whoa!
It's run over a dog, sorry.
Yeah, a dog just bought it, I think. So okay guys, the dog is safe. And there's no dog that we've just run over. That's okay. I don't want 100 comments saying, what about the dog? There's no fucking dog.
Uh-oh, sorry.
But there was a time though when art and illustration was appreciated and was a feature of book cover design. So for me, it was James Herbert, and for you, Sam, it was Barbara Cartland.
Yeah, or M.R. James or H.P. Lovecraft. It depends on how old you're saying I am today. Judy Blume.
Yeah. And you like reading human books, don't you, Michael? Fortunately, Tom wasn't available for this trip, so the best we've got is Michael. Way, woo!
It's perfectly good in his own right.
They call him the life of the party. Woo! So the idea, we were thinking, apart from, you know, building a horror film studio, making 1 million horror movies, was also a publishing line of products. We have a book called the Hex Book of Monsters, which is an anthology of short stories, and that's going to get released soon. It's a hardback book, really beautiful. But we just love the idea of making like, kind of like, not trashy, but just exploitation horrors novels, so short novels. For me, a bit like in the style of James Herbert or even Clive Barker, right?
Oh, amazing, yeah.
Stuff like that. And we are copying this idea because we saw a couple of other books doing it, but we love the idea of printing the books like VHS horror movies with cardboard sleeves that they could go in, so you could stack them on your shelves like a classic VHS horror collection. Yeah! So we've just stopped at a place, what's it called? Southways, which is like a Burger King coffee type roadside thingamajig.
We're in England.
Oh yeah, we're now in England.
King.
King Thong Dong. Yes. So so how does it feel to be back in your home country?
I feel so alive. How do you feel to be trespassing on my home country?
Well, raiding or conquering is the word I would use.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm walking following in the footsteps of William Wallace, travelling along the M4 motorway, a Volkswagen Passat, driven by my lieutenant, Michael.
In the pursuit of
In the pursuit of freedom. So, how are you, Sarah?
Fine, thank you. I have a nice cup of Greg's coffee.
Yeah, I have a Costa coffee, and what do you have, Sam?
I also have a Greg's coffee.
That's the hierarchy at play.
Oh, yes.
What about you, Michael? Did you have anything nice? No.
You had a baguette.
Yeah, a baguette.
Oh.
Sausage roll.
Yay! Every second of our lives and journey, you will have a chance to follow. And here we are, pulling into Manchester. Yay! This is Manchester, everybody. Wow, great. Okay, and it's kind of slightly rainy. How are you guys all holding up after this epic journey?
Look, a tram.
You get a tram? Oh yeah, Manchester has trams. Okay, so now we've arrived in Manchester. This is our Airbnb. There's a kitchen, and where are the guys? Oh, hello, it's Sam. Hi Sam. Hi Sam.
How are you doing?
What do you think of the place? It looks quite nice.
Well, let me demonstrate why we are in exactly the right place.
Sure thing.
Just have a little look at the DVD collection.
Here we go.
And we have Cannibal Ferox.
Oh wow, that's good for an Airbnb to have Cannibal Ferox. That's quite random. That's excellent.
Hammer
Oh my
House of Horror.
god, that's brilliant. This guy has taste.
And one that I haven't seen, All Night Long
All
too.
night long, all night.
But yeah, and also, you know, we've also got some classy stuff.
Oh wow.
Red shoes.
That
Which
Paul
is an
Pressburger
influence.
film is a big influence for the Black Gloves.
Exactly.
Which, funnily enough, is playing at the festival. So that's so strange.
Yeah,
That's great.
We are truly home.
And some ornaments. Oh. And how about you, Michael? How are you?
Alright.
Oh, Michael. What are you saying to it, Michael?
Nothing. I'm just needing a rest after the drive.
Oh, look at him. Great, excellent. Okay, let's find Sarah. Sarah. Well, I guess this is Sam's room. You don't want to shine a UV torch in this room, though. And let's. Hi. Oh, look, here she is.
Hi.
Hello. How are you doing? Wow, do we have an ensuite?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Pretty fancy, huh?
Yay! Hey, Sam found a copy of Cannibal Ferox.
In the house.
Yeah, in the Airbnb.
Oh wow,
It's great.
that's unusual.
So now I'm just going to try and persuade Michael, who seems very tired and slightly grumpy,
Uh-oh.
to show me how to tie a half Windsor knot.
That'll cheer him up.
That would cheer him up. Michael. 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 Could you show me how to tie a half Windsor knot for this tie? Michael. Yay! Okay, Sam, this is now your solemn responsibility to capture this powerful moment. Okay. So, Michael, what is it you're about to show me here?
How to tie a knot.
But this is no ordinary knot. What is this knot?
Just a half Windsor. Half Windsor.
Did you know that the half Windsor knot has a reputation? What was that reputation again? Something to do with James Bond.
No, that was the full Windsor.
So the half Windsor knot is okay, but the full Windsor knot has a reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that reputation, Michael?
Yeah, that nobody should wear one because they're a cad if they wear a full Windsor knot.
A cad, and that is according to Ian Fleming, author of the James Bond novels. So he hated full Windsor knots. Anyone wearing a full Windsor knot was a bad guy. We'll try it. Doesn't seem too bad. So you might be wondering why do any kind of half Windsor knot or a full Windsor knot, but the reason why is because this really keeps its shape. Like, I could do anything with this and this knot will stay. It won't start to slide down and you have that kind of bedraggled office look. So here we are in Manchester. Mind you, this background of brown terrace houses probably doesn't really evoke the sense of being here at the studios and all these big office buildings. This is Manchester Media City. This is where there's, can you guys see a BBC logo over there? Yeah. Whoa. So this is where the Starburst Film Festival is held, in one of those buildings over there, which is where we're going to be heading in a moment. There's also lots of restaurants. What's this area called again, guys? Salford.
Salford Keys.
Sorry?
Salford Keys.
Salford Keys. Michael, what's it called?
Salford Keys.
Oh. So it's called Salford Keys. Here we are. Whoa. So there's ITV. There's the studios and the BBC.
It is very sharp.
Okay, so here we are sitting in a booth. We've arrived very early at the Starburst International Film Festival. We're in a local booth. We've got a drink that's been kindly bought for me by the very generous organiser. And we have here a program, don't we, Sam?
We do.
With all the films.
And I'm
It's
very
exciting.
I'm also here.
Yeah, hi, Sarah. Okay, so we have the programs. Hi there. Okay, right, so let's have a look. There is An English Haunting.
Yes.
That's Charlie's film. You guys will get a chance to meet Charlie STEEDS. He is Sam's great rival.
friend.
And friend.
But mainly rival.
Rival, yeah. Because his film, An English Haunting, will be up against Sam's film called The Hollow Child. No.
A little more flesh.
Yes, exactly. Sorry, Sam, you're quite right. Yeah. And there's a picture of it, a little more flesh, but this is cool. What the hell are we looking at here? What's that warning? Graphic content. Yeah. That's right, baby. It's the only film that has a graphic content warning, apart from Michael's cell phone videos. Those graphic content warnings are only visible in the FBI files that contain those videos. So excellent. So how does it feel, Sam, to be up against this? Have a look at your competition. An English Haunting, Stay Out Alive, The Good Neighbour, The Great Charade, Chesterburg, I Scream on the Beach, The Hollow Child, and Those Who Deserve to Die, and Arctic. Oh gosh, there's quite a few of them actually. Nefarious as well, which was a Kickstarter, and Surprise, which is a horror anthology. That's cool.
Yeah, cool. It's a cool lineup of films. I'm excited to see as many of them as I can.
And would you be okay coming second to An English Haunting?
Of course, I would be so proud of Charlie, and he really deserves it. And yeah.
Excellent. Okay, brilliant. Right, great. Well. Okay, so here we are. Hi, we're here too. Yeah.
Hi.
So our film, The Black Gloves, is also screening as a special screening because it has already played at film festivals around the world, but only in its black and white form. This new colour version has a very special screening. So it's not playing in competition because that would be unfair to all these young, ambitious, independent filmmakers. But it's still, nevertheless, very awesome. And it is, let's have a look here, over here, The Black Gloves. Woo! Screenplay by Sarah Daly.
That's me.
And guys, Sarah doesn't get enough credit really, so we're trying to show her more in the video. Here we are. Woo-hoo. She is also the fellow partner that runs Hex Studios with me. She is the brains to my good looks. She is the face and brains of Hex Studios.
And of course, there's some excellent short films showing as well, isn't there, Lawrie?
Nobody cares about short films, Sam. Let's stop that right now.
I like short films.
Oh, wow! Your short film got accepted into a film festival.
That's so mean.
Wake me up when that counts for something. That's what you said last night, isn't it, Sam? At Nando's, with chicken all over your face.
I think it was Michael or Tom.
No. Guys, so this is David.
Hey, how you doing?
And Charlie STEEDS. Hey guys! Don't worry, this isn't the start of our interview.
Okay, it's good.
We will be doing an interview with them, but first I'd like to annoy everyone with this. Isn't that right, Sam?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, we're very annoyed.
I have to make these videos because after getting an iPhone 11, I had to justify it to Sarah, and this.
And you haven't managed to do that.
Yeah, and I haven't managed to do that yet, unfortunately. Yeah. Never mind, at least you all get to enjoy Michael. Yay! Lots of people at the bar. There's Lord Harvey for Human Centipede, and oh, Sam! Hi, Sam.
Hello.
So it's a really great atmosphere here.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. We're having drinks, we're having a bite to eat. We see lots of filmmakers, lots of horror fans, all just hanging out and mingling together. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Really cool, Sam?
And who's that behind you?
Yes, Charlie. Oh, look, Charlie STEEDS and Davis. There we are. It's Bruce Campbell. I'll take that. Yeah.
The Starburst International Film Festival is the ultimate money where your mouth is mission statement for our magazine. Like many of you here, we are an independent. We are not propped up with corporate cash, and every issue we swim against, it's a tide that just swamps everybody. You're fighting against corporates, you're fighting against every other person with money that can just destroy everything you're trying to do. Under our tenure, this is the 4th festival, and I promise you that it is no hyperbole when I say that we had double the amount of movies submitted that we had last year. There is no drop in quality with this increased amount. It's by far the best selection of movies I've ever seen at a film festival. It is an honour to be screening these movies, and the knowledge that we also have several movie premieres is very humbling indeed.
Okay, so we've made it back from the first day. So there's no interviews for the first day because we're just getting drunk and saying hi to everybody. And now it's become something like a kind of pajama party, except some of us still look a little bit more dignified than others. And this is important, is that Sam had the idea of using Deliveroo to get us some late night munchies. So guys, hello.
Hi.
And we will be doing lots of cool interviews tomorrow, which is the second day of the festival, and yeah. So that was our first day at the Starburst International Film Festival, and as responsible filmmakers, we didn't go and see many films. We were busy getting drunk at the bar with our peers working in the industry. Now, the second day of the Starburst Film Festival is the big day. That's when there is lots of screenings, lots of panels, and it goes on until late, which lets them fit in the awards ceremony as well. So, what you're about to see next is the start of this second day. Sam!
Lawrie. Hello. Hi. How's it going? How are you? Why are you still filming me?
This is day 2 of Starburst Film Festival. Are you excited, Michael?
Mm-hmm. Can't wait to have some fun.
Yeah, so this is day 2. This is a big day. Oh, here we are walking to our second day. Woo, Michael, there's Michael walking, and there's Sarah, she's hiding over there. Mainly because the wind is sabotaging her carefully prepared hair, and as you can see, me too, I look like, well, an angry scarecrow, unfortunately. But that's not why we're recording this video segment, is it, Sam?
No. It's because we're on our way to day 2 of Starburst, and it's a big day for both Lawrie and I because we're both showing films.
That's right. This is the world premiere of your very awesome feature film, A Little More Flesh. A Little More Flesh.
Yeah, a little more flesh. And I'll be doing an intro, I'll be doing a Q&A. Hopefully you'll see footage of both of those things. And we're going to be talking to people, our friends, Graham Humphreys, Charlie STEEDS. Who else are we talking to?
Oh, Lawrence Harvey.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and the festival organisers hopefully as well. And I'm premiering, no, I'm not premiering, I guess I am premiering a special edition version of one of my older films, The Black Gloves, which was previously released as a black and white film noir and has been re-edited with a new soundtrack in a new colour format. So that
and a
will...
new ending as well.
Oh, wow. So, is there?
Yeah.
Great, well, there you are. Excellent surprise for everyone, including myself. And that will be fun as well to see how people react to that. And we'll try and catch the intro and any Q&A for that as well. Unfortunately, my film will not be playing in competition as a special screening, which means that the great contest tonight will be between A Little More Flesh and An English Haunting, yes, directed by our friend Charlie STEEDS as well. So expect more of this melodrama to play out during the course of today. Oh my goodness, guys, you are in for a treat. We are about to interview Lawrence Harvey, star of The Human Centipede 2 and star of one of Mark Logan's short films, which featured in our movie, For We Are Many. He's one of the nicest guys in the genre. Lawrence Harvey, whoa, my God. And... You had something to add, Lawrence?
No, I was just saying hello.
Oh, no, you go ahead, Lawrence.
Hello.
Hello. With orange juice. And Sam.
Hello.
Hi, Sam. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm great, in fact, because I'm very excited to talk to you about Human Centipede 2, which I think is an absolute masterpiece. Can you talk a little bit about how you kind of first became involved with the project?
Yeah, I mean, my agent rang me up and said there's these people from Holland that want you to be in a porn film, and I've turned them down. So I said, really? What? A porn film? Okay, so who are they? It's Six Entertainment. I've been to their website. It says Adult Entertainment Amsterdam, so I've turned it down. I said, hang on, what was the title of the thing? So I couldn't figure out why they wanted to cast me in a porn film. I mean, I had done a play called The Man with the Absurdly Large Penis at the Vic, but you can get typecast in cinemas. But you know, so I sort of asked him what the title was, and he said The Human Centipede 2. And then obviously I recognised the title of The Human Centipede from the first film was on a Fright Fest and had played Fantastic Fest in Austin, and I'd read the reviews of those.
You actually thought it was a porno originally?
My agent thought it was a porn. That's why he turned it down. So
It's just ironic you should say that, because Sam's fan film of Human Centipede 2 did take a slightly more erotic turn.
Right, thank you for that interruption, Lawrie. Please continue, Lawrie.
Sorry, yes. So we'll make this more dignified.
So once I knew the title, I told him to get back in touch with them and set up an audition, so which he did. And they got in touch and said on the morning of the audition will be in the afternoon, but in the morning there's going to be a screening of the first film. So yeah, they sort of came down, and I hadn't seen the first film. The first film was still doing touring the festival circuits, so it hadn't really been released. There wasn't the big kind of, people weren't doing the Human Centipede on Facebook.
Yeah, and
there was that phase of people taking photos.
It was massive, wasn't it? And it was.
But that wasn't.
It was everywhere.
That wasn't until we were filming the second one.
Oh wow!
So
how did that feel?
Well, it was kind of exciting, and people that I knew in London that didn't really know horror films, they knew of it from people lining up on taking the photo on Facebook, because it became the new planking kind of thing.
You have these horror fans. They love Human Centipede. It's a film that's a pop cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
But you're an artist and you're an actor. Your relationship is different. You worked on this film rather than as just a fan. What does Human Centipede actually mean to you? Is it a pain in the ass, or is it a great thing? Is it a shit thing? Is it a wonderful thing?
Well, I think as an actor, you're going to be known for whatever is in the public consciousness, and I guess prior to this, if I'd died and on my tombstone it would have been, "Here is the little green man from Saturday morning kid shows." So it was nice to be known for something different than a kid show from the 90s.
And it's such a raw and powerful and kind of revealing performance. Did you ever feel vulnerable making it, or is it just
No,
job?
because I kind of trusted Tom. There was a lot of discussion with Tom, and I mean, when watching the first film, I sort of liked his the way he'd reference kind of 70s policiers. Parts of it reminded me of The Vanishing because of where it's set on that kind of German-Dutch border, you know.
Yeah, totally.
So there was these kind of, as it were, high art references and kind of lowbrow references. I mean, you know, there's the modernist architecture, and then there's the kind of cheesy mad scientist kind of storyline, you know. So it's the kind of the mix of the two that I liked. What's on screen looks great. All the money is on screen.
Oh, that's the spirit of independent filmmaking, though.
Oh yeah.
And you're a big advocate and fan of independent film. I mean, you're one of its stars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm supportive of people that have ideas and that are interesting to work with, and I'm not a fan of kind of mainstream horror or.
Basically, what Lawrence is saying is that he hates Blumhouse. He wants to go to the studios, burn them down, watch Jason Blum tumble out of a fourth floor window in flames, screaming his mother's name. Is that what you want, Lawrence?
No, I'm just saying, as a very successful mainstream studio, that's not what I'm kind of interested in.
They all deserve to die. Well, let me ask you this.
I mean, another mainstream studio like A24 actually sort of encourages. I mean, although you know, you might say that
my nemesis, A24.
Obviously, you've done many films. Another one of your movies that I absolutely love is Kate Shenton's Egomaniac. Can you just talk a little bit about working with Kate on that film? I think it's an amazing low-budget movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was kind of a micro-budget, whatever. You know, it was kind of the idea of it was so good, and it is kind of Kate's kind of experiences in the field, kind of fictionalized and made into something quite kind of funny and disturbing.
Just to give you guys an idea, Kate Shenton is a filmmaker who we work with. We distribute her film Egomaniac, and she produced a film that basically expressed the trials and tribulations facing particularly women in trying to produce their own independent films, and especially horror films, which you were totally amazing in. And I thought it showed a side to your performance range that people watching Human Centipede may not be familiar with, which is just how empathetic your character can be and how emotional.
With that character in Kate's thing and the character of Clyde Toole in Liam Reagan's Banjo, they were kind of very
amazing in that.
They were kind of so sympathetic and so pitiable characters. In a positive way. And
please talk about working with Liam, because you know, Hex don't distribute his movies, but we love him.
We did for a while though. We distributed My Bloody Banjo for a good while, and we helped re-secure the rights for that. Liam's also done a new edit of My Bloody Banjo, and
not just the edit. It's like sound has been redone. The color adjustment has been redone. I think he says it feels like a new film.
Yeah, we've seen it, and it's amazing. The music's amazing.
And you're fantastic in it, Lawrence. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for speaking to us. We're really grateful for your time.
Okay.
And the best of luck to you, Lawrence, and we look forward to working with you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
So you guys are doing the filmmaking panel, right?
Yes.
And you have a film showing here at Starburst.
Yep.
And it's an erotic adventure film.
It is, yeah.
Oh, that's Oh yeah, cool. I Scream on the Beach. Oh yeah, nice. That's some awesome artwork as well. Love that. Old Grindhouse VHS. Should have gone on there. So what are your names?
I'm Michael Holiday.
Michael Holiday.
Alex Churchyard.
Alex Church.
Yard. Yeah.
Yard. That's a great name.
Quite a good horror set.
And tell us the premise of your movie, because it sounds very cool.
Okay. Do you want to do that?
Yes. It's sort of meant to be set in 1986. The whole
film is meant to look like you're watching a VHS. So there's like lines and shit going on. Sorry. It's about a girl called Emily whose father goes missing in the 70s.
Hiding in the corner.
Emily, hi Emily.
Hi. And then she tries to find out what happens to him, and then her friends start getting picked off by a guy in a gas mask.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Wow, total like slasher 80s movie.
Yeah.
It's proper like splashers.
It's got a cutthroat razor.
Black gloves.
Bit of Dead Man Shoes influence, maybe.
Not deliberately, actually. It was more of My Bloody Valentine, but it was only after
yeah.
we did it that we sort of like we saw the mask in Dead Man's Shoes again. Like revisited that film. It was like it's the same mask. It's like basically
exact same
identical.
mask, yeah.
And Mr. Churchyard, do you perform your own nude scenes?
Not in this one.
Are you the only person that's not in the film?
My voice is in the film, right?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So is this your guys' premiere?
No.
It's only the second. Well, it's the first time we're showing this, but a slightly different version today. It's only the second time we're showing the film though.
Cool.
Yeah. Exciting.
Northern premiere.
Yeah.
So where have you guys screened so far?
Horror on Sea. So the film was shot in Southend on Sea,
Oh.
and Horror on Sea is in Southend on Sea. So that's where we had our premiere.
I've never been to that festival. It's supposed to be a lot of fun though.
It's
right?
really good. Yeah. A few people like Charlie STEEDS was there with Barge People. The Micro guys are always there. You know,
Nefarious played there. I think.
Nefarious was there. Dead Air was
Richard
there.
Roundtree.
Roundtree,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is he coming actually? Or?
I think he's here.
Is he?
I think I saw him briefly earlier.
Yeah, his leaflets are about. So
Ah, okay.
yeah, I think he's here.
Ah, well, guys. Well, good luck on the screening.
Thank you.
And I guess we'll see your faces on the thingy,
On the thing.
filmmaker panel.
Yeah.
That's it. Hey. Till then, Sam.
Lawrie.
You are about to speak on the producers panel. No, the filmmakers panel.
Yes.
Which is an industry panel about filmmaking.
Yes.
That's exciting.
It's very exciting.
And Charlie will also be speaking on the filmmakers panel.
You've just snapped me on. Interesting.
Of course, but look at those cheekbones from any angle. Charlie Steed looks gorgeous. Never
Come on
mind.
now,
Yes.
Lawrie.
Unfortunately, it's a little bit more work for me and Sam. You know, our age. You know, never mind.
That's fair. That's fair.
So you guys excited? Your film's both hotly anticipated to win the same awards at the awards ceremony this
I think
evening.
we all know who's going to win the award.
And an English Haunting versus a little more flesh.
Yes, it's going to be an
No
English
contest.
haunting.
No contest.
Hang on a minute.
It's like-
let's at least pretend.
It's like the war between ancient Carthage and Rome. Who will win?
Charlie has been making films for a lot longer than me. He's made many more films than me. This is like my only second film. I'll be lucky to get anything.
Yeah, but you said that Charlie was like an amateur compared to you, though. I mean,
You said that?
Yeah. I said it in an email. I can forward it to you if you want.
No, I definitely got to win.
You said you were like Tarkovsky with no arms, legs, or eyes.
It's quite an inventive insult.
It is actually. Yeah. It doesn't really sound like a Sam insult.
No, it sounds more like a Lawrie.
Yeah. Sounds more made
I
up.
love both these guys. These guys are both excellent independent filmmakers. In fact, they're the pedigree of independent filmmakers. They're exactly the kind of filmmakers we need more of instead of all these wanky, pretentious shitheads. But never mind. These guys both deserve to win all the awards, but there can only be one, as is the rules of Highlander and the Immortals. So, here we go. Our audience should rest assured that I will continue to wind up both these filmmakers during the progress of today. And here is the panel. Shall we go in, lads?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Courtney. I just wanted to get you all sat up there and obviously organise you.
Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
David York.
Hi, David York. Congratulations on your film screening at the festival.
You too.
I'm Lawrie Brewster.
Hello. Hello. And
Hi, Lawrie.
hi there. What's your name?
I'm Bex Phillips.
Bex.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I'll try and film as much of this as possible in the most embarrassing, painful way, rest assured.
He is an agent of chaos.
I am not an agent of chaos. Why, hello.
Hello.
I'm Lawrie.
Nice to meet you. I'm Francesca.
Hi, Francesca. Hi, Emma. Hello.
Do you know each other already?
We were married for 6 years during the 90s. It's sad how things ended, but it's nice to see you here.
Good that you're friends now.
Yeah. I shouldn't really be on the panel, but never mind. They haven't noticed yet.
It's
So
going to be you falling
as long as I can just stay here, you're fine.
You snuck your way in, Lawrie.
We can do this, Charlie.
Yeah.
Isn't he gorgeous? Look at him.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Weakest Link. For those of you who don't know, my name is Andrew KEATES. I'm hosting this year's festival. Welcome to our very first Filmmakers Festival. And in many ways, the people on this stage are the very reason that we're all here today, to support emerging and indeed established independent filmmakers.
I'm Charlie STEEDS, and I've got my film In English Haunted playing today at 9 p.m.
But I will be doing a Q&A after my film, A Little More Flesh, which is playing at 5:45 in the cinema room. Yes.
Hi, I'm Francesca Louise White. I'm here for The Great Charade.
I'm Emma Dark, and I am a filmmaker. However, I'm here this time as I'm acting in a film, and that was House of Lexi, which played last night.
Hey, I'm Scott Lyons, and my short film Black Mass is planned directly after this, actually, in a short horror book 2 that I'm part of.
Hello, I'm Richard, and my feature film Nefarious is playing at 5 o'clock in room 2.
I'm Alex. I've made a film called I Scream on the Beach, which is screening in this room at 6:15, and I made it with
Me, Michael. I also directed it, and you know when it's on now, so.
I'm Daly. I've got a film called The Jets, which is playing at 2:30.
I'm Bex Phillips. I've got a film called Thursday Night, and it's in the crime short section from 7:45.
First question. I'm going to direct this one to Charlie STEEDS, if that's okay. Charlie, what are the challenges that you have faced with the film that you've made recently?
Can I grab the microphone? It's just over there. Well, every film presents like a different set of challenges. An English Haunting was quite an easy one, actually. Like, it's quite a rare circumstance where things go pretty smooth. But in terms of challenges for indie filmmakers, always number one is budget. Like, I don't think some people understand how little money. I'm sure most of us on this panel are all struggling with like such tiny budgets compared to what people probably think you actually have. But like, you can make a film for so cheap these days, which is a great thing because it means we can be making films. But then at the same time, there's just a whole world of challenges of, just everything you need to pay for, locations, actors, your own time. It just makes it really difficult, but also it's exactly what allows us to be doing it in the first place. I would say every challenge for me, I think, always comes down to budget. There's just not enough money going around.
And Charlie, what have been some of the creative ways that you've been able to come up with financing your film?
Well, in terms of financing, for me, I mean, my thing is just if someone's offering me money to make the film, I'll just take it and I'll make the film. So, like in the case of An English Haunting, I've been really lucky because I was able to make a film that was exactly what I wanted to make. Like, I just decided, I'd love to do a really old-fashioned haunted house movie, and I was able to just do it exactly how I wanted to do it. There was no cuts made to it, and this is even rare as well, like even the title has stayed the same. Usually my titles get changed to something obscene by the distributor to sell it better. So I've been able to actually do it exactly as I wanted to, but that's not always been the case. A lot of the times I've done films where it's like you're always got to be fully behind a film, but sometimes someone comes with an idea and this is where your money is, this is what they want made. Well, I might not want to make that. I might not be interested in doing that. But I also want to keep working as a filmmaker, so you have to do it. You have to find a way to make that project into something you want to do. You have to find your angle.
And generally to the panel, what have been, again, same question to you all, what have been perhaps some of the unique, and keep it clean, some of the unique and creative ways that you have financed passion projects of yours?
Yeah.
So, Little More Flesh is my second film, and basically on my first film, I kind of looked at what the most expensive elements were. So, the cinematographer and the editor. So I decided to teach myself how to do both of those things, so I could save money. And if there are any people who have aspirations to make films in the audience, YouTube is an incredible resource. I literally taught myself how to edit using YouTube only. And that's the film that you'll see this afternoon. So yeah, if there's anyone out there who aspires, just pick up your phone. Most phones these days can shoot 4K. There's an app called Filmic Pro, again not very expensive, and you literally can make your dream project, well, your dream first project, tomorrow if you want to get started.
Yeah, I'll just add on to that. Great words from Sam, and he's 100% right. I'm also, as well, there is a film industry. Charlie works in it, I work in it, where there is money getting spent on making films. Just get your asses over to things like the European film market, the Berlin Film Festival, Cannes as well, which is a massive independent film market as well. You're talking a trade conference of about 3,000 different vendors for cable stations, distributors and all that. You go and check them out, see what posters they've got for the movies they're buying and selling, and you'll get an idea of where your own stuff can kind of find its place in the market. Don't be too insular.
Lovely. Let's do a nice general question, and I'd like you all to answer this question, if that's all right. What was the film that inspired you to be a filmmaker?
It's going to be controversial, but mine's actually a TV series rather than a film.
Okay.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I've got a feeling.
Yeah, so for me, it's kind of not so much a film as a book.
No one wants to answer the film.
Well, no, I will, because this book is very film-centric. It's called The Psychotronic Encyclopedia of Film. And basically, I want my entire filmography to fit into that book. So my first film was inspired by Fritz Lang, and the new film, which is playing today, is inspired by Jean Rollin and Jesus Franco. And so basically everything I want to do, I want it to be appropriate for this mad book about crazy cult exploitation movies.
Yeah, of course we all remember the classic Confessions of a Window Cleaner with Rowan Asquith, profound cinematic ventures. Yeah, for me it was the films of Ken Russell, such as The Music Lovers and The Devils, and like a lot of older directors in their 50s and 60s, a good dose of Akira Kurosawa, especially the film Redbeard, the medical drama with Toshiro Mifune. Really depressing time in my life, and that film, when I saw it, blew me away and changed everything.
Well, for me, yeah, there was one film. It was Reservoir Dogs. I just watched it, and I wasn't that young, but I wasn't allowed to watch 18-rated films, so it was quite a new experience to watch something so sort of violent, and it was the first Tarantino film I'd seen, and just the style just leapt out at me. So it was one thing, I'd never seen films like that. I'd never seen films with such a vivid style. And it was the fact that it was just guys talking basically in one room, but it felt like such a huge story. And that goes a long way for independent filmmakers. If you can, An English Haunting is a great example. Like, I had this mansion and I knew I could film in the mansion, so the whole film is set in the mansion. We never leave the mansion. It's a haunted house film, so it doesn't feel like you're restricted, because you should be in the haunted house for as much of the film as possible. But it's entirely down to films like Reservoir Dogs, where you've got that single location, that made me think, you can actually tell a story with limited resources, and this might actually be possible for me. You look at like Jurassic Park, and you just don't have a clue as a teenager how you could go on to make these types of movies. But Reservoir Dogs was like, I can see how that has happened, you know. So yeah, that was a huge influence.
I have to say, as a theatre director, you know, working with limited resources on one set, it is very difficult.
Until it was E.T. And I drove my parents at the wall watching it again and again and again on Betamax and crying under the sofa. And then as a teenager it was Aliens, because it was the first film where I'd seen a woman, because it was all Arnold Schwarzenegger, like with the Running Man earlier on. And yeah, it was the first time I saw a woman and was just like, wow, this is amazing. And then in later years, David Lynch.
I think not being afraid of making mistakes and not thinking it's the end of the world and I'm never going to be able to work again, or I'm not going to be able to do, no one's going to trust you to go and try and make another film. You learn so much. I mean, I know it's a cliche, you learn it through mistakes, but it really is the best teacher. I mean, no matter how many lessons you take, courses you take, just getting out and doing it, you learn so much more.
For me, it's to do with working with actors. Basically, my first film I did with James Swanton, who's actually in Black Mass, and I was maybe a little bit hard on James, and then I ended up co-writing a film with Charlie, a vampire movie which should be out before the end of the year, and we thought it'd be fun if I did a little cameo in the film. And so I play a barman, and all I have to do is pour a couple of drinks and say "thank you, ma'am" in an American accent. And we did it a few times, and Charlie was clearly happy, but he wasn't speaking to me. Well, there we go. And I suddenly felt super vulnerable, and yeah, I suddenly realised what it's like for an actor. And so from that point on, I've been more communicative with my actors, and a bit more reassuring and less hard. And now I'm going to hand over to Lawrie for the punchline.
There's no punchline. I'm a benevolent God. Well, the question is what you could change, right? No, it's what you would do differently.
Yeah.
Regret, that's right, yeah.
Well, let's regret. More, the word is learning.
Yeah.
The word is, you know, because as filmmakers, it's often interesting talking to you guys how everyone wants to show what they know, and actually I'm more interested in what you didn't know and what you know now.
I think probably because that's a really good question, and one of the best answers is trying to learn through the process of your experiences not to care about that question. So in other words, coming to terms with the idea that it's okay for your career not to have retrospectively gone one way or another, but that the path you've experienced is the important one, it's the intended one, and it's okay for you to be at whatever level of progression you are, so long as you are on the path towards fulfilling your creative potential and making the kind of art you want. But it takes a while to stop thinking about maybe if 10 years ago I'd done this, or maybe if I started 15 years ago, all that kind of stuff. Just forget, it's all bullshit and rubbish.
Good answer.
Yeah, I second basically what everyone said, like what everyone said about their regrets. Everyone's brought up really valid points, but the two things I would say, and they conflict with each other, which is why I think everyone sort of makes this mistake, is in the beginning everyone's got an idea of like how they say you should make films. You know, like if you go to film school, they're all going to try and teach you how to make films. If you sit and watch this panel of us lot talking about it, we're all telling you this is how to do it, but it's totally unique to you. Like it's totally, you do it how you want to do it. You know, like when I was at film school, people were saying, this is how films are made. You know, you've got your big crew and you've got this and you've got that. So I always thought my journey would be that through the films, each one would get bigger. Each one would have more people and become more professional. But what I found works for me, and it took me a while to like throw off these shackles, but what works for me is like, the more crew I've got rid of, the more I'm like, now it's starting to look good and professional. Like now I'm starting to get places because I got rid of this guy and I got rid of that guy, and it's becoming streamlined. And they're not going to tell you at film school, you know, oh, if maybe there was just like 3 of you on the crew, that's going to be better than 40 of you on the crew. But I've done both, and for me, having 3 people on the crew was way better than having 40 people on the crew. So just what anyone says, even if it was like you read an interview with Steven Spielberg, that's a different filmmaker in a totally different time with a totally different circumstance. So you just got to think, what works for me, what's actually going to happen for me, and just go with it. Like someone was saying, go with your gut. Yeah, just go with your gut. Don't worry. Don't sit there worrying, oh, this might not work out. No one shot their film on their iPhone just by themselves and they were the actor as well. Well, if you think your idea actually is going to work that way, just do it. And then that comes into my second point, which is everyone, I guess, starts off with a bit of an ego of some sort where you're thinking, it's my first movie and it needs to be big. It's gonna be shit. Like, there was a time, like I spoke about Reservoir Dogs, there was a time when someone like Tarantino could make Reservoir Dogs and get his millions or however much he spent on that film, and he had all these amazing casts. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Like, it doesn't happen anymore. Maybe it does to one person, but unless you are sitting there and you know Brad Pitt and you know Brad Pitt's going to come and do your little cheap movie, then you're not going to get Brad Pitt. Like if you don't know them now, you're not going to get them. So just go out there and make it, and it doesn't matter if it's a load of old shit, just make it, and then you get better as you go. So yeah.
Thank you. It's interesting, isn't it, as filmmakers, what we term by the word success. Indeed, when working and talking with independent filmmakers or indeed short filmmakers, quite often it is always with a view to the big budget features. Now, obviously I know a lot of people have aspirations to making genre entertainment feature films with those lovely big budgets. Is there anybody here whose aspiration of success is not just to work on those blockbusters, or anyone who particularly prefers things like short films or indeed prefers working in that medium as your preferred medium?
Before I was a filmmaker, I was a dancer and choreographer, and one side project that I've got is called Coven, and it's a representation of old women in kind of film and the idea of witches and that kind of thing. And that's a series of micro shorts that I've just started, and that's completely all choreographed and danced, no dialogue. So I really enjoy doing that because I can just basically do what I like.
How can members of the audience find that online?
YouTube.
Have you all heard of YouTube? Good. It's a new thing. It's very good. Anybody else with other definitions of success other than to work in features?
Yeah, no. My definition of success is control. Getting your vision out there in its purest form, and so for me. If they were to ever ask, I will never do a Marvel movie, I'll never do a Star Wars movie in its current form, because the director there seems to be the last person on the food chain. It's all about producers, it's all about, Disney, all the rest of it. So yeah, for me, definition of success is control, and that's why I love the indie sphere. Like, no one would make any of my films at studio, but I'm very proud of them, so yeah.
I like that. So, talking about other filmmakers is what I'd like to ask. Is there anybody that's on your radars at the moment that you've discovered either through festivals or working that perhaps we should all be adding to our own radars and adding to our iPad and iPhone notes to go on YouTube a little bit later?
It's a writer, Sarah Daly, who writes all of Lawrie's films. So you can see her work in the Black Gloves this afternoon.
She's over there!
She's over there.
You're a YouTuber, you can just talk to her.
Yeah. Genuinely one of my heroes, one of my writing heroes. Her work is astonishing. So Sarah Daly.
Any questions out there? Lovely, this is why I have this job, isn't it? So tell me about your heroes. Who have been the filmmakers that perhaps have influenced you either because their work is so wonderful or indeed so terrible?
Well, to sort of add this onto the previous question, someone like Lawrie, I've never told you this actually, Lawrie, I don't think, but when I just came out of film school and I was wondering, what the hell am I going to do? Like, how do I break into the industry? So just came out, just got any old job that I could get. And I was in Sainsbury's and I picked up they used to have this magazine, Digital Filmmaker magazine, which used to be great for indie filmmakers, especially like British indie filmmakers, because it's a British magazine. You could just pick it up every month and it would be all of the stuff that us guys are doing. It would all be reported in there. and Lawrie was in there with his film, Lord of Tears. So for me, like, picking it up and looking at it, and then looking on Laurie's website and looking at his trailer and looking at stuff, you're just thinking, like, there are people out there who are sort of, they're just going out there and doing it, they're going out there making these sort of horror films. You don't see this type of traditional gothic, hammer horror style horror movie getting made very often, especially not in Britain. And here's Lawrie out there doing it. So that sort of thing is like really inspiring, because that's a sort of a hero in a way, because you're looking at it and you're thinking, maybe there is a way. And that article, reading that, and some of the other articles in there, definitely has gone a long way in making me make the initial decision. Fuck it, I'm just gonna make a film. I'll get whatever money I can together, and just go for it.
Same question to anybody else on the panel. Any particular heroes that were extraordinary? That was lovely, by the way. I thought the whole audience was going to go, oh.
Yeah, you heartless bastards. Where's my, come on. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Charles. I had no idea, but that's awesome. And
don't forget the money later.
Yeah. And it's true, I do see much of my genius in you. So I think you're going to have a fabulous career. No, but seriously, that is awesome. And for me, it would be Roger Corman. Roger Corman is one of the patrons for our studio company, Hex Studios, as well. He was someone that had always inspired me when I watched his films, where he did the American International Pictures stuff and everything afterwards. And we were able to get in touch with him when we set up our own company. And he got behind it, gave us advice, quotes, press, everything like that. And he's like the kind of granddaddy of independent film. And he still goes to work at 84 with his wife. And that's very much my role model. I want to be in my 80s, trundling along in strange suits to work. And I've got a feeling, Charlie, that you will as well, because it's the life. And the reason he's a hero of mine is because he is an entrepreneur as well as an artist. So, and it's such an essential skill to have if you want to make your own films, is to figure out how the hell am I going to get paid making the art that I want to make? And can I do it myself without having to rely on lots of third parties? Always in collaboration, but just not having to sacrifice things. And that's exactly what you're doing with your career, and it's exactly what I've always tried to do with my career, with my colleagues Sarah Daly and Michael Brewster, and even Sam Ashurst with Hex Studios. And it's what I would suggest everyone should do.
I don't think you should make a documentary about film festivals. I think it should be called My Mate Charlie. A beautiful coming-of-age tale about a mentor or a young filmmaker. I think it'll be
Well, here is a scene for the documentary My Mate Charlie. Just very quickly, at the very start of my career, I'd only made one short film with my friends in 3 hours at my house, and somehow I was basically headhunted along with Charlie and Lawrie actually for this weird streaming service that never happened. Basically there's going to be money shared amongst us and we we're going to make films just for the streaming service. Anyway, I felt so out of place. I'd only made 1 2-minute short film, and Charlie made me feel so welcome, and I've followed his career ever since. And genuinely what he does, like, go and see An English Haunting. What he does with a low budget is absolutely astonishing. Pick Up the Barge People. Charlie is a real hero of mine in terms of like indie filmmaking, and also Jesus Franco, who used to steal money from his investors and make 2 films at once. I aspire to do the same one day.
So we are honoured and delighted to be sitting erotically with Scott Lyons, an independent horror filmmaker, and we're going to get a little chance to chat with him about his latest project, Black Mass, which is playing here at the Starburst International Film Festival. Woo!
Yeah. Ask away.
Yay!
Ask me anything you want.
So, what the hell is the movie about?
So, quite serious. The film's actually about depression. My depression, mainly. So it was inspired by... I suffered with depression for a while, and then it got like really bad for a time. And I kind of got to this moment where I was like, okay, what do I do to kind of help myself out of this? So I just wrote the story of what would become Black Mass, and then that helped me talk to other people. And then when I had gone to talk to other people about stuff they had been through, found out how common it was among, lots of people that we all know. And then that kind of inspired me to like flesh it out a little bit more, and then turn that into a film that was therapy for me, to be honest.
So it's a real cathartic expression in
hell
all of us.
yeah,
so then, is it like it's a very drama-focused horror film?
Yeah, I would say it's a very drama-focused horror film.
So you got the drama focus, but what horror element is it?
So the horror element is, so for me, when I was like really deep into depression, I kept having these like recurring dreams of this like dark figure, which I don't really know what it meant, but like for me that was kind of like the idea of depression for me, and that was like just something I couldn't get out of my head.
The embodiment,
Right, exactly. It was like for me that was the embodiment of depression, and then that's the character that James goes under the extensive makeup for and plays very well. So it was, horror is the genre I like to tell my stories in. It's the genre I love the most, and I actually truly believe it's the genre that allows you to explore them ideas. I don't mind when people don't identify with a film, especially if it's on a personal basis, because then that gives them the platform to express what depression is to them.
There's some people that don't like your movie at festivals, but fuck them. So me and Sam, we're both shocked because we've never met an emotionally troubled artist before.
I'm sure,
we struggle to
I'm
relate
sure
to
not.
this personal story. So you got the emotional stuff, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Got the depression stuff.
Yeah.
Let's put that aside. We've talked about that now.
Okay.
Now we're going to talk about the horror stuff. And Sam, I'm going to let you hit those questions.
Well, what films or movie moments have kind of scared you, and what made an influence on Black Mass?
So a lot of stuff that influenced Black Mass was a lot of old ghost stories and hauntings, and that's the other side of Black Mass. Like, there is a serious side of it, but I also wanted to make it work as a film.
Exactly, yeah.
So to work as a cinematic piece, I made it a haunting story, basically. So a lot of 60s, 70s haunted house films, ones that very much deal with the personal side of haunting, all the way up to newer stuff, a little bit like the Babadook, for instance, where what I like about that is it's more of the story of the mum and the child, and the way then the Babadook is the manifestation of their issues and their troubles. Stuff that's really impacted me was stuff like the Blair Witch Project.
Totally.
Paranormal Activity, like that first Paranormal Activity film.
I even like the second one, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like the third one. Yeah. I think has some genius direction in it. Like that bit where they put the camera on the fan.
I think the seventh one is the best one. That says the seventh Paranormal Activity is the.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Number 7. 7.5.
Scott, where can we watch your movie? Do you have a distributor yet? Are you looking for a distribution?
We don't have anything for Black Mass yet because we're still doing the festivals. So we've got a few more festival dates that we're going to hit, and then we'll be looking to release it. And then for older work, I've got that on my YouTube channel, which is Crossroad Pictures.
I've got one more question.
Yeah, sure.
That might seem slightly unusual, but how do you feel about Lovecraft? Are you a Lovecraft fan?
Yeah, I am. I'm a big Lovecraft fan. I'm a big fan of the world and the mythology more than the man's actual writing.
Of course, yeah.
I actually think in terms of Lovecraftian stories, some of the best work has been done by other people. Neil Gaiman has done some amazing stuff. So funnily enough, my next project is my first feature film, and it's a post-apocalyptic monster film. But the whole idea is I've built in this mythology into it. There's mythology to the monsters, there's a mythology to the world.
So Sam, why did you ask about Lovecraft?
Because Hex, their first anthology film for We Are Many, which did festivals last year, they're doing a follow-up for We Are Many 2, which is Lovecraft themed. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I can't believe Scott says he hates Lovecraft. Yeah. Screw you, Scott. You see, this is
I didn't say I hate Lovecraft.
He
I
really
didn't at all.
Scott said he wouldn't piss on Lovecraft if he was screaming in flames.
Oh, no.
Well, that's fine, Scott. No, we love your work, and please send us the short as well, and let me know if there's anything that Hex can do to help with your films, advice, distribution, anything.
Oh, you're guys,
exactly the kind of guy that we want to support and do our best to help.
Oh, thank you very much. And like, just on a personal note, you guys are. I've been watching what you've been doing for a long time, and you're.
Well, on that YouPorn channel, I'm pretty good, like.
I didn't think we were getting into that, man. I didn't think, like, that's a different video. Like. That's a different video entirely.
Not every man needs lubrication.
That's true. That's true.
Let the man pay you a compliment.
Okay. Yeah, let me pay the compliment, and then we're getting to the YouPorns. We're getting to that. No, just the model of your Kickstarters and the way you build up your audience, and it's all, you know, self-contained, and you build in the audience, the merchandise, everything there. Like, that's for any indie filmmaker out there that wants to learn how you can do this and sustain this without going to investors that are going to tear you apart and kill you, and make the stuff you want to make and make the very unique stuff you make. And you yourself, sir, yeah, guys, check these out.
No, thanks.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
Hey, Scott Wireless, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Here we are, having lunch right now. What have you got, Sarah?
Trying to eat a baguette.
There's Charlie, David Lenelink.
That's the one.
So this is we're only hours away now from the beginning of the final battle between a little more flesh and an English haunting. Which will win? Which will lose?
An English haunting will win.
Probably, but we have to, for the sake of the video, maintain the illusion of there being a battle to be fought, to add drama and emotional intensity to the.
Charlie's so nervous he can't even eat.
Well, Michael is especially excited. So who knows what will happen? Are you guys excited?
Very.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to let these guys get back to the lunches now. But just hold on to your hats for what comes next.
Yeah? Oh, hello. Well, that's close.
Yeah. So here we are, just 10 minutes away from the introduction to the Black Gloves.
Yep.
Written by Sarah Daly.
Yeah. Just, preparing.
With the cinematographer, one of them, Michael Brewster. And Sam, a man who has seen the Black Gloves.
Yeah.
With his own eyes.
So there we are. We'll be right back with our introduction.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. I'd just like to say we're going to have a very quick introduction by the director, Lawrie Brewster.
Hi guys, very quick introduction. Sarah Daly, come out quickly as well. This is the writer, Sarah Daly, and full producer as well for the Black Gloves. The brains of the outfit, in fact. This is a film about a very disturbing love triangle. It's a melodrama made in the style of classic cinema from the 30s and 40s. Films like Sunset Boulevard come to mind. It combines classic film themes with very weird, subversive, and disturbing emotional and sexual ideas from contemporary culture. It's a film that will probably disturb you and leave you with many questions, with which you will be able to ask the Q&A after the film.
Yeah, we'll be here, so if you have any questions, store them up, and we'll do our best to answer them at the end.
Yeah, and before you clap, before you all bugger off to the bar at the end of the film credits, to lure you to stay in your chairs, we have goodies. We've got 5 huge Black Glove posters and a cuddly toy of the antagonist from our film.
Just the best.
And the designer of the poster is here, Graham Humphreys, and he will be able to sign them for you. So let that be a bribe, and then also if you want to buy us drinks at the bar afterwards with further questions, I will happily answer them. Thank you guys so much for coming to see our film.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
We do indeed.
And we hope you like it.
Bye. And then we went straight back for the Black Gloves Q&A.
You met Lawrie earlier, the director of this wonderful film. This is Sarah, the writer, and Hex Media.
That's it.
So, first of all, watching it back in colour is a totally different experience, isn't it? It's it's a commercial decision. So how do you actually really feel about that?
Oh, no, it's fine. I mean, the thing is, like, I mean, you guys have probably seen films like Chinatown, stuff like that. Things referred to as neo-noir, you know, which are colour. They still use shadow and contrast to accentuate mood and style. And even when we filmed that originally, in colour anyway, there was always a part of me that was like, oh, wouldn't it be just awesome to have both versions? And to be fair, the colour version has a different soundtrack as well. The black and white one has a much more classical kind of theatrical soundtrack. This is a bit more kind of synthy and stuff. And also, the cool thing about the colour version as well was it gave us a chance to revisit the film, and we actually put in a couple of scenes that were originally not in the black and white one, because we just didn't have time to get them all finished and stuff. And so it was actually much cooler, I think, for us to see the story more rounded out. So you guys would know it, but like there was a couple of kind of cool scenes that aren't in the black and white one, like when the owl man's chasing our guy when he's dragging himself along the floor. That's a nice one. And also the one where Lorena takes off her black gloves and you see her burned hands, which are really important for the ending when, you know, she takes her gloves off and they're healed again, you know. So it's a lot of stuff like that.
It's not a lot. You retconned a lot of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Sarah, how was it going back to the Alamo? Because in case anybody doesn't know, the first film, Lord of Tears, was virtually all about the Alamo.
Yeah, I think, I mean, everybody loved the Owlman, and he's such an iconic character. It was a challenge to try to come up with something else that would feel original and that would stand on its own 2 feet as well, not just be drawing too much on the original film. We wanted to capture as well some of what people had liked about the original film, but again, to do something that felt new, that was inspiring to us, and that people would still enjoy in a different way. So I think looking to a sort of different era helped us to do that, to sort of access it from a different angle and to see the Owlman in almost what felt more like his natural habitat, I suppose.
And what I love about your films is they're very, very much of the old school. It's old school horror. It's not just about shocks. There's no gore. It's proper chills. And is that hard to sell to people, do you find?
Well, I mean, this film was partly funded through crowdfunding, and it did really well. I mean, at the time...
I put in?
Yeah, you did. Martin put in £4,000. Can you believe that, guys? Round of applause, £4,000.
I'm sure he'll do the same next time.
So, something like that. And
it was an IOU.
Now, this is just my own perverse perspective on the genre. So, and guys, you don't have to agree with me on this, but for me, it feels sometimes that horror films are divided between slightly, for me, pretentious art house, which is not all A24, but it's like one extreme is like that, where films seem like they're shot through the prism of Instagram filters and postmodernism. And then the other extreme is that they're so self-aware that you're supposed to laugh at them. And when I think of a lot of classic gothic horror cinema and films that I like that were produced by Hammer and Amicus and early companies in the 60s, 50s, 70s, they were neither. And where is that space for independent genre films where they're not going to try and pretend they're smarter than you, and they're not going to try and be so stupid that you're supposed to laugh at them? It's like, and that's kind of what we want to champion with Hex Studios, not just with the films that I'm lucky enough to direct, but the ones that we're producing with other filmmakers as well.
Absolutely. And the emphasis is on the story.
Yeah, we really just want to tell a good story with an element of mystery, with suspense, creating an atmosphere. That's what we love about horror, and that's what we try to do, at least in our films. It's not about being trendy.
Yeah, you can't follow trends because it's always going to get dated eventually. So.
Yes.
Yeah, and we also like to almost wage war against that aspect of pop culture.
There's got to be a
anyway.
knee-jerk something.
Yeah.
I think we've not got an awful lot of time, but if we've got time for 2 questions. Anybody? Anybody?
Where did the idea come from to use like
the ballet in Swan Lake in the storyline?
I think it was just sort of almost stumbling upon the fact that the villain in Swan Lake is an owl, an owl-headed creature, which isn't something we come across very often. So we both love dance. We've included an element of dance in pretty much all of our films. So it seemed like a kind of a golden opportunity to do our own take on Swan Lake to an extent, to include the dance in the film and also to sort of tie in our Owl Man with the classic ballet version.
Yeah, in the director's cut, you get to see my 40-minute dance sequence, but yeah, just
I know, but them tight pants.
Yeah.
The people weren't ready for it.
That got you the double X.
Triple X actually got me in Ireland.
That's triple X out. Anybody else?
Were there any like logistics from doing a film not in this time period?
Yes, it was painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
Don't
the
ever
worst?
do it.
What was the worst?
Oh,
Or did you have to pay anything
well,
out?
the worst is for poor old Michael here, who had to basically key out every light switch, every socket.
Yeah.
We did our best to cover up as many as we could in clever ways, but inevitably there was a lot of time spent in After Effects fixing these things. And also you can't just borrow things from a friend. You can't just use what's there. You have to replace everything with something from the period. So that added a lot of logistics in terms of prop buying and set direction. That was, tough.
Especially, that scene with the psychologist checks his Casio for the time. It's, oh no, it's going to take 2 months, and after
pulls his mobile out.
Yeah.
I think one last quick one.
Sure.
What's coming next for you guys?
Oh, well, our company, we do like we're doing 3 or 4 features a year. At the moment, we're doing For We Are Many Too, which is an anthology feature film, which will comprise of adaptations of the stories of H.P. Lovecraft. And, Sarah's got an all-female directed anthology that she's working on. And there's so many other projects that are in the works. We're looking at a lot of Gothic literature as well for adaptation as well. Just lots of exciting stuff.
Check press for details.
Yes.
Yeah, guys. and just as we think, let's give out these goodies to you.
Yes. We were originally going to have the Owl Man here for you, but he had a bit of a cough. We had to be careful because we're all being sensible.
We took him out of our basement from the studio and he was covered in moss, and Michael didn't want to inhale 100 mold. Yeah.
That's going too far behind the curtain. Suspend the disbelief. Come on.
Right. Okay. So which 4 of you loved that movie the most? Good. Okay. Right.
Right now they have to come up here.
Didn't like it. You're not getting a free poster.
They've got to come up here and do a dance.
All right, let's see the show of hands. There we are. Oh, there we go, young lady. There you go. This one's for you. There you go, my friend. This one's for you. There we are.
For you. For you.
These were these posters, beautiful posters done in the style of 1920s exploitation posters. Were made by Graham Humphreys. So catch him whilst he's here. Get him to sign them for you, and
then eBay him.
Yeah. All right. Now we have this. One cuddly owl man. Who would like to have a cuddly owl man?
I think someone needs to do something for this.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
An impression of the Owl Man.
Good idea.
He's eager, he's eager.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Dance, monkey, dance. Come on.
Yeah, let's have
But yeah, I like you really getting into it.
He's getting ready his props.
Let's have a bit of this.
Oh, wow.
Be careful, it's plugged in.
You take that to this. A bit of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
We need a who.
No.
How?
Give it to someone else.
That's pretty good, but is there anyone writing a review for this film? Oh, there we go. Right, journalist win, there we go. There we are. It was good to hear you got the post.
You've got the attention.
And guys, thanks so much. If you like the film, please put a wee review on Letterboxd, because that does make me, not
Feel
cry
better.
at night.
If
Yeah.
you didn't like it, please keep it to yourself.
Yeah. And yeah, if you've got any questions, we're here all
Absolutely,
night,
yeah.
so you can have a drink with us. Thank you again so much. Thank you,
Yay.
buddy. Oh my God! And then an epic event took place in the history of mankind. something that I had been anticipating for the whole event. And what was that, Sam?
That was the world premiere of A Little More Flash.
Yay!
Yay! And so you're about to see me do the intro to A Little More Flesh, and yeah, that's it. I'm just going to do a very quick intro because you're about to listen to my voice for quite a long time, so I don't want to do that to you. Yeah, I'd like to dedicate this screening to Elf Lyons, the producer and star of the movie. Sadly, she couldn't be here for this, but she sends her love to you all. And yeah, I'd also like to let you know that you have our full permission to laugh at this film. Now, it is a serious film, but it's also a satire. So I've tried to create kind of the ultimate movie monster. So feel free to laugh at him because he deserves it. Hope you enjoy the film, and thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Mr. Sam Ashworth. So, I think you owe everybody an apology.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's my film. And
let me just turn that down.
Even though. Yeah, even though Stanley has my voice, obviously I cannot condone any of his words or actions. Yeah.
But hopefully people get the message that it's not condoning any of this.
Exactly, yeah. So I worked very closely with Elf, the producer and lead. We had kind of quite an open and in-depth discussion about, yeah, lots of different things. And she basically guided the fake film. So we obviously made it together, but a lot of that is improv. For example, the steak sequence, she really wanted to do that, and she cast her partner at the time in order to perform that with her, so that she was with someone that she really trusted. And yeah, then we kind of made the film up as we went along, the fake film, and then I kind of wrote the commentary to match exactly kind of what we had. And then we did one more round of writing together, and she threw in some extra insults. She'll be very happy that Flat-Footed got quite a good laugh. That was quite important to her. Yeah, so that's kind of how we put the film together.
And the footage of the actual film, did you actually, well, it most improv, but have you assembled that into any narrative anyway? No. So it was never intended. So what's quite interesting is that we wanted the dialogue in the film to be actual film dialogue of God's Lonely Woman, just in case there was any lip readers who saw the film. We wanted them to have kind of their own experience and for there to be an actual kind of narrative there. So the dialogue was improvised. So there is sort of a film there. But there was one actor, lovely actor, who just wasn't comfortable saying the words for his own reasons. And so I asked him, like, all right, what's your favourite film? And he said, The Shawshank Redemption. And I said, well, just describe the plot of The Shawshank Redemption to Elf, and we'll just hope that the lip readers understand and aren't too confused in that moment. So yeah, I don't think we could ever release a version of the film. That's not going to be an extra
No.
on the Blu-ray.
No.
Anybody got any questions? Come on.
You can ask me anything. This is your only opportunity. Oh wow, I've got enough lighting. Oh, Charlie.
Where did the idea come from? Like, obviously, it's quite a cool and unique idea to have a film that, you know, like, it doesn't work without the commentary. It's like, as you're saying, it's part of it. Where did the idea come to make something where, you know, the commentator was going to be haunted by the things they've done on film?
So basically, there's loads of different inspirations. Kind of the main one is, and if there's any kind of indie filmmakers in the room, you'll know that one of the hardest things to get on set is good quality sound. So I was like, right, if I can make a film where I'm just shooting images and then the audio commentary can kind of carry the narrative, then that will enable me to basically shoot a film kind of on my own. And so that's where that kind of premise came from. I was like, well, you know, audio commentaries, the directors returning to their past work. Well, what if this guy was the worst fucking monster ever? And what if he had no conception that he was a monster? And what if his past work came back to get him? Because I love J-horror, as you probably guessed from the film. So that idea of, you know, spirits returning, I wanted to get that in. So, yeah.
Anybody else? No? Well, did you have anybody in mind when you were portraying this horrendous director?
Yeah.
They were hopefully they're going to be dead now, so you can mention them.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost dead. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this was kind of... Yeah, it's... Basically, so there's lots of layers to that answer. My mum was a model and actress in the 60s and 70s. And my dad was a photographer. I look more like my dad than my mum. But yeah, she was a model and actress, and she told me lots of stories about that time. And when all the kind of Me Too stuff started coming out, it became clear that nothing much had really changed in 50 years. And so that was kind of an element of it too, to show that this shit went on then, it's still going on now, but now women are starting to get their voices back. And so that's why obviously she takes over the commentary at the end, and it's her voice narrating
that is,
what's happening to him.
Going back to sort of like the premise of it and all that, and you're opening, it's a satire.
Yeah.
You're allowed to laugh.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, well,
especially because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, Elf's a comedian. She was Perrier nominated. She's an amazing comedian. And I actually met her. I used to do stand-up, and that's how I met her. And we knew that we wanted to kind of play to those strengths and do put jokes in there. And it's all about trying to kind of manipulate the audience so that, you know, 1 minute they're laughing, and the next minute they're kind of uncomfortable and thinking, fucking hell, this is going on for way too long. And then we kind of wanted to, wrong foot the audience and kind of thematically make them feel uncomfortable. So it's like, should I be laughing at this?
Yeah, you have to sort of like have a conscious decision about, because it's humorous.
Yeah.
But I've just laughed and I shouldn't have done.
Yeah, no, you should. I mean, you should laugh at him, like he is ridiculous. But the hope was that ultimately, at the end of the film, you'll go through this kind of difficult experience again. Sorry. But hopefully at the end you'll find some catharsis with that kind of final minute. And so, yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that were wishing that would happen earlier on in the film, but...
Yeah, what can I say? We had to get 75 minutes to be eligible for an Oscar.
Well, I'm sure you'll get it.
But yeah, seriously, thank you to everyone who stayed. And if you liked it, tweet. If you didn't like it, also tweet, that's fine. I'm not going to suppress you. I might even retweet it. But yeah, please say nice things.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Hello there, I am honoured and delighted to be joined by my good friend with my funny hair, Sam Ashurst, the director of A Little More Flesh, which has just premiered here at the Starburst International Film Festival. First of all, just big congratulations, my friend, Sam Ashurst. Whoa! Awesome filmmaker who I adore, he's great, he's a talented guy, yeah! So, this is your first premiere at Starburst, and of course it'll be exciting, but I know you'll be a little bit nervous today as well.
Yeah.
How are the nerves?
The nerves have gone away because the film is now screened.
And it's going down really well, yeah? The audience seemed to be really happy.
Yeah, we got a great reaction, some laughs, and lots of people kind of coming up to me afterwards, which is kind of lovely at these kinds of things. And yeah, so I'm a little bit. The adrenaline rush of these things is quite intense, and so I'm in the post-adrenaline mode.
I think that's the thing, like people assume when you show your film at any festival that you'll just be like celebrating like you've just won the lottery or it's like a party, but you're filled with so many nerves from things like whether the film is projected correctly, all the technical things work, and of course whether people like the film or not. Your film is dealing with like powerful and important themes of like sexual violence against women and all that kind of stuff. I mean, how did the audience take that?
Well,
wait, here's a guy. Hey, Lawrence.
Oh, amazing.
I was going to say,
Lawrence, you watched A Little More Flesh, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah, what did you think? Did you think it was shit?
I thought it was very good. I thought it had lots of ideas and it was really interesting.
Yay! So it's your first review.
I think editing-wise, either you edit it, you should have edited it sort of to a tighter 60 minutes and kept it as a kind of essay thing, or expanded the kind of supernatural thing at the end in a different way and made it a full 90 minutes.
That's interesting.
That's my only.
Thanks, Lawrence. That's a really useful plug. Now you realise I'm distributing the film. It's like, and on the poster. But it could have been perhaps 60 seconds shorter.
No, on the poster it's just, it's an interesting film full of great ideas.
See, Lawrence is an expert at passive aggression. He spent years plotting this. He's good.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, well...
Thank you for coming in.
That's my only kind of... It's not even negative, it's like my only...
Lawrence Harvey, I wanted it to be half an hour longer. That's what we'll put on the poster.
That's what you should say.
Well, thanks, Lawrence. Yeah, well. Yeah, see you later, Lawrence. Good riddance, Lawrence. I'm joking.
Still work together now.
Yeah, we'll still work together.
Oh, I sent to the doghouse now.
Here he goes. Just watch him leave an ignominious Patrick.
He did genuinely say to me afterwards that he wanted to work with me, so yeah. Good.
And that was the epic Q&A for A Little More Flesh. And all credit goes to Sam Ashurst, who was like a calm ship through a tumultuous sea, making its way through the Cape of Good Hope in one piece. And credit as well goes to my good friend Martin Unsworth, assistant editor for Starburst magazine, for inadvertently creating one of the most comical and slightly awkward Q&As to be witnessed.
Yeah, so
by mankind.
Yeah, so just a little bit of background. Obviously, these events are kind of really tough to run at the best of times. And what's kind of special about Starburst is it's the magazine team who are running this. They haven't hired a bunch of festival organisers to do everything for them. These guys are running around organising so many screenings, like an admirable amount of screenings, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's like 3 screening rooms that are showing feature films and panels all during the day. Or there was a time at a film festival where I was called out to the Q&A, and the music for the end credits of the film, because your credits normally get cut short so that your Q&A audience don't all bugger off to the bar, but they couldn't get the music down at all. So I got called out, and for 5 whole minutes the music still played at top volume, and I was standing in front of 400 people unable to speak. And eventually I had to say to them, because nobody from the festival was there at all, no staff at all, that we should just go to the bar, and we did. And so my Q&A was cancelled altogether. And of course that's not Starburst, that was another event.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's just one of them. So many things that have gone gone wrong?
This is it, and through absolutely no fault of Starburst, no fault whatsoever. Before the screening happened, Sarah Daly asked me what would be your worst nightmare. And I said, well, if something went technically wrong with the film, because it's quite an immersive film and it kind of needs to be seen uninterrupted. And what happens 12 minutes in? The screen starts to count down that it's going to shut off, and then it did shut off. Now the Starburst gang leapt on it really quickly and kind of got it sorted, and I was kind of gratified that someone in the audience shouted out, "Can you rewind it a minute?" just so they could kind of get back into it.
That's really cool.
Which was amazing.
It shows how much on side the audience were.
Exactly.
That is something remarkable and totally awesome about the Starburst Film Festival audience, is that they really seem to, I wouldn't say use the word sympathetic towards independent filmmakers, because it's not sympathy to me. It's not, that's too condescending. It's like, it's empathy, and it's also just genuinely supportive. It's like they're real fans of independent cinema, and they're in there in the trenches with you when you're showing your film. Really supportive.
Absolutely, and
but you know, we should tell our audience as well, because for those of you who are aspiring filmmakers and those of you who are already independent filmmakers, you will know that there is not one festival you go to without technical problems.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so, absolutely right. And just to be completely honest with you guys, it's a nerve-wracking experience at the best of times. Like, and I tend to make quite weird, challenging films. A little more flesh. I mean, you saw Martin there say, you know, are you going to say sorry to everyone? Because, yeah, there is quite an extreme moment right at the end of my film.
And there's such a cute bit though where you say, "This is my movie."
This is it, because, like, you know, it's all very well and good going out and shooting and editing a film that really pushes boundaries and wants to make an audience feel uncomfortable. And it's another thing actually having to get up in front of them and saying, sorry I put you through that, but I hope you enjoyed being challenged. And people did seem to enjoy it. You know, you had a few people come up at the end.
Oh no, they did.
Talk to some people,
well, I mean, your film was a success, and that was great. And the challenges with the Q&A and the stress and the anxiety of premiering your film, these are important points. And to be honest, they might even be something we revisit in a full video to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, almost like an emotional toolkit for you as a filmmaker to survive a festival.
Yeah.
Because the conventional wisdom is your film gets accepted, you're overjoyed, and then you have a great time. And we did have a great time at Starburst, but it doesn't not come at the emotional cost of hoping your film is liked, hoping your film is screened okay, hoping the Q&A goes okay. And it would be dishonest on our part if we were to say that every one of those aspects are, you know, completed successfully in a festival experience. Normally one goes wrong, one or the other goes wrong.
Yeah.
And it can be a demanding and exhausting experience, right?
This is it, absolutely. And so this is why we've included this footage. I mean, you know, there's a moment where we go to the audience for questions, and only my good friend Charlie STEEDS had a question. That can feel a little bit like, oh, okay, so, you know, no one has any thoughts on this, no one wants to discuss it. Have I done my job? Because this is supposed to be a film that provokes discussion. But we've left that in because it's what's happened.
Well, this is the reality.
Honest, yeah, exactly. An honest, truthful portrayal of what it's like to be an indie filmmaker right at the start of your career, in my case.
And enormous respect has to go to Sam as well, because by sharing his experience flying the wall, and the same with myself as well, and the aspects of the business that you'll see with me as a producer as well, is that it isn't always a bed of roses. But there's beautiful, again, we don't want to sound too negative on this, but what we're just saying is that most filmmakers will never let you see the full picture. They'll only want you to see the laurel leaves getting uploaded on a picture on Facebook. But that isn't the full picture. And it takes an enormous amount of courage and humility as an artist to be comfortable sharing all that. And I say the word comfortable, but like, you know, Sam is going to a special effort to open that side of his experience as an artist to all of you. And I hope you appreciate it, and I hope you take the time to learn from it as well, because you will never get a level of access like what Sam is so courageously sharing with you right now.
Our biggest ambition with this channel is to support new and young filmmakers and to make them feel kind of less alone. And so, you know, I had that experience. I'm sure many of you will have similar experiences, but you're not alone. It happens to all of us. And the important thing is to just keep on going and keep on making films. Yeah, because we need your films to entertain us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're just going for dinner. Here I am with this fabulous actor, David Lenelick.
One day you'll get it right.
Okay, mate, what is the correct pronunciation of your surname?
Lennick.
Lennick. But do you not think Lenelick is more
I prefer that. I do prefer that. But I'll persevere.
Lenelick or Lennick?
Lenelick.
Lenelick, yeah, it is dramatic.
It sounds Lenelick.
Yeah, Lenelick.
I don't know about that one. That sounds a bit. That's your stripper name.
So
that sounds
these
like my porn name.
fabulous guys have got their movie An English Haunting playing in just a couple of hours.
Yeah. So we're gonna get pizza probably beforehand.
Yeah, but Sam, he's in the bar. He's just finished screening his movie and he's in recovery. So we'll see him later.
Hello.
Hey, now we're having pizza. Woohoo! It's Michael, Charlie, David, Lennick.
Hey, you got it right.
So we're not joined yet by Sam. Sam is having bourbon at the moment. He's in emotional recovery at the moment following his premiere of A Little More Flesh, but we should be speaking to him again soon. It's always a bit stressful and intimidating showing your film. And you're up next, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but stress isn't something you really evoke.
No, I'm looking forward to it.
Exactly, yeah. I'm now joined by Sam, who has survived the screening of A Little More Flesh, which is an awesome film, and nibbled on the pizza crusts in that restaurant over there, which is quite nice.
Indeed, yeah. And now we're on to Charlie STEEDS.
Oh yeah, there he is. The great rival to A Little More Flesh with An English Haunting.
Rivals, my friends. Oh, well, no.
To the death.
Yeah, we
to the death. But we're going to sneak in and catch the introduction, although it's a very quick introduction time that Charlie has, and hopefully we should get time for an interview with Charlie as well.
Definitely.
And a little interview with Sam as well, because these are both super talented independent filmmakers, good friends of ours that espouse everything of the spirit of independent filmmaking that we need to see more of it in the genre as well. So, speak to you again soon. So this will be an English Haunting, and here's David Lennick, star of An English Haunting.
Exciting.
Here we are. Oh, and where's Charlie?
Good question. Where is Charlie?
Yeah, here we are in the champagne room of Starburst International Film Festival.
We were just discussing whether we should get a drink before we start this.
Oh, fuck you too!
I know you got your pint of water, but I was going to get a beer.
Well, you want to go and get a drink and we'll go on then. Get a drink and we'll come back. Okay, so we're back now that these guys have got their drinks. You've got bourbon, beer, and I have a pint of water. Because I am the responsible adult in this conversation, which isn't really true.
No.
So again, we have Sam Ashurst, director of A Little More Flesh, which just premiered successfully at the Starburst Starburst International Film Festival, and we have Charlie STEEDS, director of An English Haunting, arch nemesis of A Little More Flesh,
Right.
about to do battle.
Can we bring an end to this narrative? Because I love An English Haunting. Charlie was kind enough to sit in on A Little More Flesh, and he offered me advice along the way when I was editing it.
It was all sabotage though.
Yeah, exactly.
These awards.
To the death. Okay, so Charlie, about your brilliant film. English Haunting is awesome. I love it. It's a great classic gothic horror story. Though it's got some cool folkloric Celtic twists here and there with the mythology that you bring to life with your awesome antagonists. And your film also stars David Lennick.
Yeah.
Wow! So, tell us, what should audiences know about An English Haunting?
Well, I do prefer audiences to just go into a film blind, because I don't like you to have any preconceived idea. It just is what it is. But it's basically compared to my other films, I'm usually aiming for like, this is what I'm aiming for anyway, I'm usually aiming for like an adrenaline rush of horror, action and gore and chainsaws and screaming. That's what most gives me a buzz as a filmmaker. But this is totally different. It's subtle, slow, and even there are jump scares in the film, but when I sat down to think what sort of haunted house film do I actually want to make, I looked at other like paranormal films that actually scare me, and it wasn't stuff where there's things jumping out in your face all the time. It was more the things that were quieter, subtle scares where you watch it, it's a little bit creepy, but then like maybe a day later you're still a little bit unnerved by or thinking back to this bit that made you a bit uncomfortable. That's what I'm aiming to achieve with it, is the more subtle scares. So it's a totally different type of horror. It's subtle and it's a slow burner, and it is influenced by the older sort of horror movies, haunted house movies from the 70s, where it wasn't a roller coaster of jumps and creepy children and things popping out and CGI ghosts. It's more just like the door swings open and that's it.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
just a little chill that is just enough, you know. The film does give way to my more there's sledgehammers and fire and stuff.
Egregious tastes.
Yeah, so there is a bit that slips in. But yeah, overall, that's what you should expect.
Sam, I think it would be true to say that me and you consider Charlie to be proper old school in his horror filmmaking styles. And that's one of the reasons we both admire you so much, man.
Yeah, I adore your films. I adore how like they're so different in terms of like genre. It's like going into a video store and seeing like, you know, boxes in the different sections, but they all have your voice, your very distinct voice and your taste. How do you keep like that voice consistent? I know
Well,
it's a tough
yeah,
question.
when I came up with my company, my brand, Dark Temple Motion Pictures, like, it was important to me to have a brand of some description. Like we were all saying earlier, that we're so inspired by people like Roger Corman and Charles Band, you know, like Empire Pictures. That was a brand. When you turn it on, you know what you're getting. Or Hammer Horror, for example, you know this sort of horror to expect. They are radically different films. Take Empire Pictures, you're getting medieval stuff, and then more light-hearted comedy stuff, and then some quite scary horror. But there's always this same voice going through it. And what you were saying about video shot, that when I first thought of what would I want my brand to be, I would want it to be if you walked into the video shop and there was like the dusty top shelf of horror movies. That is what inspired me as a kid to be like so intrigued by horror. Yeah, any film I come up with, I want it to, it has to have a title and sort of box art that I would have wanted to have seen on the shelf up there, and it needs to all fit into the video shop. So when I'm coming up with an idea,
That's really cool, actually. I kind of wish I'd considered that myself, actually, with my own
if
filmmaking.
it doesn't fit in on the video shop shelf that I've sort of made for myself, then I shouldn't really make it. Because I've got a script that I really want to do. It's a high school, it's like Mean Girls, but the horror version of Mean Girls. But the reason I've not got around to doing that, for example, is because it doesn't really fit with the rest of my stuff. But one day it'll click in my head an angle that makes me go, that's how it kind of fits with my style. It doesn't feel like my film to make, so I've not bothered with it yet. But yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
amazing.
What was the question?
Like, no, you answered the question. One thing that me and Sam think's awesome about you, which we can really relate to, is that at Hex we work with our actors and our crew like a family, and we have a lot of the same faces that come back. And this is something that I think it defines Dark Temple Productions as well, your own company. Can you tell us a little bit about your own strange family of artists?
Yeah, well, it's exactly that. You create like a family for yourself. So obviously, even from like, take for example an actor I use all the time, Barrington De La Roche. He's the only actor I've used like in all of my feature films apart from one. Take for example someone like him. I knew him from making short films. So he's stayed on from the short film days and has now been in all the features. But you become like a family, and without some of these actors, it wouldn't even feel like, it doesn't feel like my movie yet. It doesn't feel like, it is like every time we do filming, twice a year, all together on a shoot, you want to try and get your family back. Otherwise, it's like having Christmas, but your aunt and uncle didn't get invited. You kind of want to find a way to bring everyone back so the whole team. I mean, obviously, certain actors skip certain films, so you do juggle it around, and you always need to bring on new people. Like I just shot a werewolf movie. I know all of the cast of all of them before, apart from the lead, and that does happen. That has happened before, where it's like the lead character is brand new, but you bring them into an ensemble of people you know really well. But so it's always important to have like fresh blood in your little family, because that's how you keep expanding. But yeah, it just makes your life so much easier when you get on set, because it's hard enough. It's pretty miserable business, independent filmmaking. You've got never enough money, never enough time. You're staying up 16 hours. It's actually quite miserable. Sometimes you're on set and you think...
Actually, I find the challenge is having too much money and too much fun. And you can tell by this hairline that the stress is non-existent in my own career.
But yeah, exactly. It's just, if you can surround yourself with your friends, you make it that much easier. And there's a general rule I found: if you're having a good time on set, then your film turns out better. It just does. If you're being like a really hardcore perfectionist director and demanding of everyone they get it perfect, you probably come round to watch the final thing and it's not as good as you thought it was going to be. But if you were just all enjoying each other's company, you will find, oh, actually, I've made something fairly decent there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who's the best actor that you've worked with recently?
Well, if I had to choose of all the actors, not only that I work with, but including Oscar season as well, everyone I saw, it would be Sam's cameo as the barman in my vampire film, and he has a line.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go.
Yeah.
You were fantastic in that role.
Yeah, no, on a more serious on a more serious note, we actually co-wrote that film together, which is why I have a cameo.
And it's
yeah, very excited.
It's set for release this year, right?
Yeah.
We're not 100% sure on a release date, but it's all with the distributors now. It's finished. They're getting it ready to go out. So yeah, it should be out. It will be out this year.
I've had a chance to see some of the work in progress for this vampire movie, and it looks totally awesome. It has the spirit of Ken Russell's Lair of the White Worm, which is something that you wouldn't expect to see a talented young man do, given the influences in pop culture at the moment that define the kind of work you should be making, which is drab, hipster, detached nonsense. The fact that you have a sense of camp, fun, that's brilliant. That's one of the reasons I'm a big fan of yours.
I'm mainly inspired by Italian horror movies, or Italian movies in general, and they all have. They are lower budget, so they're like exploitation movies. So in the Italian movies, in the American movies, you got one thing. If you watch like a zombie movie from America, that's one thing. That's one level of shock. Then you go to the Italian versions. They didn't have the same amount of money, but they had to like up their game somehow to get it over to the American markets. So it's 10 times more outrageous. So that's partly what I love about Italian horrors and even Italian westerns and stuff. So much more crazy and violent.
Well, literally, we can hear the theme song from Django, aka and Django Unchained, obviously, and that was a film that kind of bonded us. We both agree that Django Unchained is the best Tarantino movie, and Tarantino's an inspiration for you, isn't it?
Huge inspiration. Yeah, Tarantino. Like when I first watched Reservoir Dogs, that was the film that made me feel like, right, I need to drop everything now and start actually making movies right now. Otherwise, I'm never going to get to, the level I want to be, whatever that might be.
Fair enough, and it's cool that Tarantino continues to inspire new filmmakers and genre filmmakers as well, given now that it's more fashionable to critique him for not being so sensitive to the delicate natures of young people.
But that's the fun of it, and that's the fun of like Italian movies as well. Like you look at the sexism in Lucio Fulci movies and stuff like that, and Dario Argento. It's like horror is not always. It doesn't need. Right, there is a place for horror that's got a more sensitive side and rights some of the wrongs, but also there's a place for horror that's just like doesn't give a fuck, gonna just go crazy and give you it's horror, it's supposed to be down and dirty and nasty. That's the fun of horror, that's the thrill of it, so that's why we want to watch it,
Damn right, man. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us, Charlie, and massive congratulations on your screening of An English Haunting. And we will see these two gentlemen again when they do battle at the awards ceremony. Oh, fuck! So here we are at the Starburst Awards, and there's a great crowd. It's a little dark, but you can get a sense of just how many people have come out to support the filmmakers that are in competition at the festival, including Sam Ashurst's A Little More Flesh, which fingers crossed.
And Charlie STEEDS and English Haunting.
Oh yeah. But you might be late and not turn up, and then his awards are forfeited to A Little More Flesh. So that would be a shame. I am now filming the awards on the table. The two titans of independent film, Sam Ashurst versus Charlie STEEDS.
Winner.
Oh my God.
The winner. Yeah, the champion.
The champions. You're both champions in my book already, gentlemen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
better competition.
friendly competition, but there can only be one survivor.
Yeah. And it's going to be Charlie. So.
I don't know if the award is for the most erotic filmmaker.
That's definitely Sam's going to win that.
You hear that? Right, good. Let's cut there.
Oh, really? Okay, right, here we go. I think we're about ready to begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, and creatures from other planets, it is with my delight to welcome you to the Starburst Fancy Awards 2020. Mr. Mike Rice.
I don't know what to say. I mean, it's tough starting out as a filmmaker, and it's tough being an independent filmmaker. That's the hardest situation to be in if you're not backed. At Starburst magazine, we share both the pain and the battle. You get what's spent on advertising by corporates, and access to vital resources are blocked at every turn. It's a difficult industry to break into. It's always an honour and a privilege to host this festival and this awards ceremony, and I wish to thank all the incredible talents that are here tonight, that have come this weekend, that have submitted their films and trusted us to screen something that will always be personal and extremely precious to them. And we do not dismiss that, we know that. And I really mean this when I say, on behalf of everybody here at Starburst, I want to thank you for coming here. It means the absolute world to us.
Well, I'm not going to keep you waiting for any longer. The very first category is for Best Art and Design. And the award goes to Dead Air. Next up is the winner of the award for Best Cinematography. Now, this is a brand new award for 2020. And I'm delighted to say the award for Best Cinematography goes to Beth Napoli for Darling, Darling Wendy. The award for Best Screenplay, which won't surprise you, goes to the Best Screenplay, goes to... Give me a drum roll or something. Scott Lyons for Black Mass. Wonderful. Now we find out who the recipient of the award for Best Performance goes to. I'll give you some drums. Best Performance goes to Johnny Bavach for Black Mass.
I think I have to compose myself a bit to try and put some meaningful words together. Huge thank you to Starburst Festival.
We now come to the award that is dedicated to our friend and colleague, Charlie Albright. Charlie was an academic that loved to write for Starburst and quickly became part of our family. Charlie was kind and loving to everyone. A lecturer that was adored by his students and a prominent member of the LGBTQ community. Charlie gave so very much to Starburst magazine, and his loss is extremely heartfelt. As Mike said earlier, from this year onwards, the Charlie Albright Award will go to a movie that we feel honours Charlie's legacy by furthering LGBTQ+ values. We are proud to announce that the first winner of the Charlie Albright Award is Yuichi Kondo for Ryoko's Quibbit Summer.
We are deeply honored to receive such a special award dedicated to our dear friend, Dr. Charlie Albright.
Now we come to the award for Best Director. And it's me. No. The award for Best Director. And I'm really looking forward to this result. This award specifically is sponsored by our partners, Fabulous Films, who have been exceptional partners and certainly want to champion directors in their work. They're a fantastic company. Please check out their catalogue of work. The award for Best Director, sponsored by Fabulous Films, goes to David York for Eject.
I don't even know what to say.
I don't even know you and I'm crying.
I don't know what to say. This, again, it really means a lot. It's hard getting shorts made, and yeah, it's tough. And again, sorry to repeat myself, but it's things like this that just make it worth it for me. It means a lot, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Now we arrive at the prestigious award for Best Feature, sponsored by our very, very good friends Horror Channel. This year, the award for Best Feature goes to listen carefully, Dean Yerk for Stay Out, Stay Alive. Very, very sad to declare this festival closed. Please watch the following.
Hello. Hi, David. How are you?
We're talking about pizza duvets.
We were talking about
Pizza duvets.
yes, pizza duvets. This is about 20 minutes to closing time at the Starburst International Film Festival. But we've had fabulous fun, Michael, haven't you? Yep. Great, excellent, very good. There's Sam. Sam's happy now as well. Sam! Yeah, we'll be back when we return to our Airbnb for our pajama party. That'll be exciting. So now we are leaving Starburst Film Festival, where we've had a fantastic time. Are we actually on the right floor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right, okay. Could almost be a bit like a kind of horror movie though, right? It's so quiet and lovely.
It is, yeah.
So how are you holding up, Sam?
You know, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. I had a few drinks. My throat is a little bit thingy, although I don't think either of us have yet been infected with the deadly pathogen. So that's always encouraging. So this was at the premiere of A Little More Flesh.
Yes, and the retrospective screening, but also the premiere of the colour version of the Black Lions.
Oh my god, you're right. It's easy to forget that when it's a movie title that's been brought back. But yeah, and we had an absolutely fantastic time hanging out with our dear friends.
Yeah.
Especially Charlie STEEDS, who's part of our filmmaking gang, really.
Yeah.
But also the organisers at the Starburst International Film Festival are a lovely, absolutely lovely, compassionate group of pro-independent filmmaker supporters, and we love them to bits, and they did an absolutely fantastic job with the event, and we're very grateful to have been given the opportunity to participate in it. Yeah.
And a home for maybe food?
Dude, wouldn't it be amazing to get more noodles?
Yeah, let's get noodles.
Noodles. Let's try and get noodles.
Yeah.
Pajama party and noodles.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, we're off to put a munger, Michael. Yay.
Please.
We nearly went to the Botanist, which is Michael's favourite lunch place. We'll do it next time, Michael.
Yeah, right.
Oh. Where Michael wanted to go somewhere fancy for lunch, but instead he's getting a croissant at Fremont. This will be a new running theme in our video now, as me and Sam analyse the psychoanalytical reaction of Michael to this devastating news, preceding the fact that we will have to stop at Greg's, our road stop on the way to Scotland. Michael had fancied the £12.95 halloumi burger at a restaurant called The Botanist, but he will go. We'll have to be quiet now as we study this case further. Hey Michael, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling today?
Alright.
And what have you got?
Toasty.
Oh. sorry pal. Go on, just take one little bite.
Now it's ruined now.
Oh, okay, sorry. So here we are. We've survived the Starburst International Film Festival, and Sarah's looking at me like my framing's not right. I'm going to spin the camera around. Here we go. We're back. Okay, and our camera's in the top right. Yeah. So Sam, how do you feel now that you've survived the premiere of A Little More Flesh at the Starburst International Film Festival?
I feel suitably humbled. No, I feel amazing. Very
Yay!
happy.
And look what we have. We have coffee. Yay! Always important. Yeah, we are ready for our long drive back.
No, it was a lovely festival. It was lovely to spend time with our friends and great audiences.
Yeah, a really unique audience at Starburst as well. Guys, we will be talking more about this on the 4-hour drive. But until we see you again, rest assured that we're eating pastries in the meantime. Yeah. So we were supposed to be stopping at a place that had a whole vending machine filled with Krispy Kreme donuts, a Greg's and a Costa coffee. But Michael, in revenge for not getting in this restaurant, The Botanist, for his £12.95 halloumi burger, has decided to bring us to this Lawrie truck stop hellhole instead. You perverse son of a bitch. Okay, let's have a look and see what this is. It.
Roundabout, take the third exit, B7076.
Oh look! There's a road chef. That sounds like an encouraging establishment. I always enjoy fine dining at Road Chef.
Well, you can drive next to him, Lawrie.
What did you say?
Or we can just stop at the botanist. And then you'll get your Krispy Kreme donuts.
Yeah, we might not stop at the botanist. It might just be your corpse that's discovered at the botanist. Okay, wait a minute. There is a McDonald's and a Costa Coffee. Yeah, obviously. Sam would be encouraged by the £2.95 proletariat fast food option. There he goes, getting out of the car. Yeah, fuck you, Sam. Yeah. Okay. Oh my God. And after I was complaining about what we couldn't find at the other road stop, Michael.
You happy now?
Donuts. What are you having, Sam?
I haven't decided yet. What?
What?
Are we eating in or taking away, Lawrie? We're eating in.
Burgers.
Yeah.
Ooh. This is what you guys are missing by not being here. Oh, God. Look what I have on my lap. Krispy Kreme donuts.
Turn left onto B7076, then enter the roundabout.
It's been my lifetime ambition as a film producer to be so successful that I can afford Krispy Kreme donuts.
Enter the roundabout. At the roundabout, take the second exit to B7076.
Would you like a donut?
Not right now, thank you very much.
Will you, Sam?
I'm alright, thank you, but when the camera's up, who knows?
Jesus Christ, there's 12 of these things. What the hell am I going to do with 12 Krispy Kreme donuts? So guys, that was our experience at the Starburst International Film Festival. And I have to say that we thought it was an incredible event. For me, this was my second year, and this was Sam's first year.
Yeah.
And I hope you also enjoyed hanging out with our good friends, Sarah Daly, Michael Brewster, and filmmaker Charlie STEEDS, and David Lennick.
Yeah, Lennick.
Lennick. Yeah. And also that you hopefully enjoyed the Odyssey about the Krispy Kreme donuts.
Yes.
So, the Starburst International Film Festival is a big event which takes place every year in March at Media City in Manchester. I suggest you go check out the website again, which will magically appear somewhere around my fingers, and that you subscribe, that you join the newsletter, that you buy copies of the magazine and support this utterly pro-independent film organisation.
Yeah. You will not see passion like the passion that these guys have for independent film. It is astonishing. And we're not talking about, the Hollywood independent films. We're talking about films that people made from money that they saved up working other jobs. The micro-budget pictures that they give proper premieres to and treat really, really well. A lot of young filmmakers there, a lot of new filmmakers there, and that's what Starburst is for, to support these guys. So thank you to Starburst for having all of us.
A massive, massive big thank you to the whole Starburst creative team, and to especially Jordan Michael Royce, who is the founder of FAB, the company which operates with Starburst Film Festival, Starburst International Film Festival. And he is one of the greatest and most passionate advocates for independent film, and he is a close friend of mine, and someone whose support and appreciation for our work we are all very grateful for as well.
Yeah.
So great event, great people. Get your asses over there for next year. So I guess that's it.
Yeah, thank you for making it to the end of this epic video. We like epic videos on YouTube, so that is the kind of content you can expect from this channel. Please subscribe, please like, and please share this video with your friends, whether they're involved in filmmaking or not, because who knows, they might want to laugh at my various humiliations.
And triumphs.
And triumphs, yeah, don't forget the triumphs. But yeah, please like, subscribe, and support us on Patreon if you are able to.
Okay, so we've got 20 seconds now, and in these 20 seconds, a subscription icon will appear here. And, well, we don't have enough subscribers yet for the Patreon icon to appear, so a piece of text will appear over here. We're still in 20 seconds. Yeah, click on them, oh! Oh, you motherfuckers!
Thanks.
Bye.